Hey there, welcome to the Uplift. I'm Tony DeCopel. We got a great show for you today, full of surprises and a unique cast of characters. Among them, a grandmother who takes leftover flowers and finds a new home for them. We're going to introduce you to the Happy Flower Lady. You'd be happy too if you had all those flowers. And a family's dog is stolen, then turns up 11 years later. Where was he all that time? We'll tell you. Also, the woman deploying sequins and tool, a word I just learned today, to military bases all across the U.S. for a good cause. And the one moment that changed the trajectory of this woman's young life, from being arrested to running her passion project. Plus, the actress who had some very good news for her vocal coach and the reaction seen around the world. All that and our most heartwarming videos of the week. You're watching The Uplift. Hey there, this is The Uplift. I am Tony DeCopel. We got a show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes and hopefully a little bit longer. We're going to begin with those heartwarming videos of the week, beginning with one from actress Talia Suskauer. Since she was just a little kid in Florida, Talia and her childhood vocal coach, that'd be Craig Wick, have been dreaming of the day that she would land a role on Broadway. Well, Talia recently received some news she had to tell Craig in person.
We didn't come here just for a visit. I have something to tell you.
What?
I'm going to be Elphaba on Broadway.
Whoa! Whoa! Talia, I told you when you were 12.
I know you did!
Oh my God, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. You're going to have to come to New York.
Oh, I will now.
He's not just saying that. That wasn't the only surprise Talia had for Craig. She also shared that video you just saw of his reaction on TikTok, and it got more than 10 million views. People were so touched by Craig's sweet reaction, they gave Talia a reason to go back and visit him. Take a look.
Okay, so the video of us has over, I think, almost 7 million views. People were so...
I couldn't believe it. And I don't even have a TikTok.
I know!
You're brilliant.
No, I just posted it.
I was told I was adorable.
You are adorable. You have, okay, so people were so touched by your reaction that your trip to New York is fully funded.
What? Now I'm definitely coming.
Fully funded. I love that. Following through. Great coaching at 12. Big role on Broadway for Talia. Congratulations to both of them. All right, now take a look at this next video. It shows a woman named Fifi discovering something quite adorable, I think you'll agree, when she was babysitting her cousin.
Chase, come on. You're gonna wake up the baby. Come on. Yes, you are. Come on, let's go. Come on. What do you mean, no? Chase. Okay.
I love both of them. They're both completely adorable. It's like a little man there passed out in the bed. It's like Sunday at 11 a.m. What were you doing last night? Not sleeping enough, young buck. All right.
Yes, you are. Come on.
We're going to move on this morning. As much as I could linger on that video all day, we're going to move on to Patricia Gallagher, a grandmother from Philadelphia known for toting around bouquets of flowers, sometimes hundreds of them at a time. She gets them from shops where they've gone unpurchased and likely otherwise would have just died, wilted right there. Caitlin O'Kane now has a story of where those flowers go instead.
How often do you donate to charity or volunteer your time? For some people, giving back may be an item on the to-do list, but for Patricia Gallagher, it's an everyday practice, and it's simple to do. Patricia, who's from just outside of Philadelphia, has been running the Happy Flower Day project since 2013.
I was living with my mom, and she was about 88, and we were trying to think of fun things to do every day, but it seemed like we were just visiting her friends in nursing homes. And then my daughter suggested that we approach some grocery stores and ask what they do with their day-old or surplus flowers, and ask if we could collect them. And my mom and I said that we would pass them out to people that needed their spirits lifted.
They wanted to do it again the next day, but when she showed up to the same store, they asked to see her nonprofit status papers. Patricia didn't have any, but her church did, and they helped her little flower organization become a nonprofit.
In total, I had 6 stores that I went to regularly, and I would call each morning. I would call and I'd say, do you have any flowers today? Do you have any surplus flowers? And they'll say, well, we only have 10 bouquets today. I say, oh, it may not be worth your time. And at first I'll think, wait, it's not worth my time. But to those 10 people that will get those flowers today, it's worth my time.
Patricia continued on with her mom and some volunteers. Now that her mom's passed, her 91-year-old neighbor Ella has started helping her deliver leftover flowers that they collect from funeral homes, events, and stores.
Just hop out of the car and we say something like, hi, I'm Patricia, and this is my friend Ella, and we have some flowers that were left over for an event. Would you like a bouquet? And then I always say, would you like to take a few others? Do you have a neighbor or a friend that you'd like to give them to? And people always say, oh, my sister's sick, or my neighbor lost their pet, or I'd like to give these flowers to the Meals on Wheels lady that brings my food. So people always take more than one, and they always pass them along to somebody else.
Patricia doesn't just hand out flowers. She's come up with 150 little random acts of kindness, and she's compiled them in a book.
My friends and I would occasionally just say, oh, this is Random Act of Kindness Day, let's go do something. And it may be something as simple as going to a laundromat and leaving a dollar store container of laundry detergent and a Ziploc bag filled with quarters, or leave 3 extra quarters in the coin return of a soda machine, something like that.
Those who want to know 150 ways to sprinkle kindness in your community can find them in Patricia's book. For Patricia, giving back to others is easy. In fact, it's her passion.
I think because I'm 70 and I'm an empty nester, my 4 children are grown, I don't want them to worry about me like, oh, poor mom, what is she doing? She's all by herself, And I think I was just raised by parents that did lots of kind things. Do all the good you can, in all the ways you can, whenever you can, while you can, for whomever you can. If you do everything you can to help other people, you're really helping yourself.
Oh, Patricia, staying busy in the best possible way. You go. All right, coming up, a dog that disappeared 11 years ago turns up safely. We'll tell you where. Plus, a special day at the Denver Zoo. We'll explain. Stay with us. You're watching The Uplift. For people who are deaf or hard of hearing, a trip to the zoo is yet another visit to a place set up for the hearing world. But one day at the Denver Zoo, the opposite is true. CBS Denver's Michaela White has more.
It's an opportunity to give back to the community.
Tyler Odom and his Boy Scout Troop 337 are spending Sunday at the Denver Zoo. Wearing his special blue hearing aids, he's one of about 1,000 people celebrating Zoo Deaf Safari Day.
It's been 2 years. COVID happened. People have been very isolated, and so many people were not able to get out and learn about different services. So this really gets everyone together. To share resources.
Relay Colorado program manager Holly Buys told me how it all came about in American Sign Language with the help of an interpreter. Her organization partnered with Wyoming to help raise awareness on inclusivity.
We are so grateful that Colorado invited us to join this opportunity.
All day long, members of the deaf community made their way around the zoo to places like the Bighorn Sheep exhibit, and people spoke their language.
Using their native language, seeing people and interacting. We've been on Zoom and that's great, but it's just so important to have that face-to-face interaction.
Buys says the deaf community is naturally very interactive.
So I think people are just really starved and wanting to get out and see the community members again.
So getting everybody together was a long time coming.
Deaf, hard of hearing people live in a hearing world. And so it means that their ability to have access and resources available to them, it can be limiting oftentimes. So this event, that limit isn't there anymore. And that's just really important. And it's just awesome to see that. I love it.
Oh, like a family reunion of sorts there. Well done, Denver Zoo. Okay, time now to be introduced to the mystery of the dog missing for 11 years. The family got that dog 11 years ago to help fill a void left by a family member who passed away. Tragedy struck again, and little Rex vanished. More than a decade after that, it now appears the pup may actually have some pretty good timing when it comes to entering his family's life. WBZ's Zinnia Maldonado has the story.
I peeked in, asked if it was Rex. I got a nod, and I instantly knew.
Rex the Yorkie finding himself back in the arms of loved ones after he was stolen 11 years ago.
Really something we were really hoping that will one day happen, and finally it did. We had to wait a lot, but it's amazing.
Marzina Najalik says she bought Rex back in 2011 when her younger brother passed away unexpectedly.
We were all devastated, and I kind of was thinking that maybe getting a dog, and especially Yorkie, will maybe bring some cheer into our family, especially to my mom. I gave her for her birthday, the dog, and unfortunately it was stolen.
Marzina says her dog was stolen minutes after he ran off from their old house here in South Boston.
He just sneaked out between the legs when someone was leaving the house. For a moment. Then we had a witness that someone just pulled over and took him from the street.
The family spent months searching for him, putting up posters, offering a reward, and filing a police report. On Wednesday, Animal Control Officer Michelle Carlos found Rex running loose miles away in Stoughton, his microchip leading them back to Marzina, now in Quincy.
It was very exciting to have him back, especially that it was a long time. I wasn't even alive 2 years before I was alive.
Marzina adds she lost her other brother just 2 months ago and calls Rex's return during the difficult time a miracle.
Oh my gosh, we got him after, the first tragedy, and now he's back after second one, to help us deal with this loss. So that's how it feels like.
Rex making the long return home, 11 years. It's a long time. They didn't forget, not the family, not the dog. Very sweet. All right, coming up, the reason there are so many dress stores popping up on military bases and why the prices are all so cheap there. Plus, we listen to the sweet sounds of the Chicago Symphony and what makes this particular orchestra even sweeter. And the woman who was arrested in college, there she is, had a single conversation with a judge that changed her life forever. What he told her ahead. You can get just about anything on a military base, but for some military families, they've noticed one thing lacking was often gowns, formal gowns to be exact. But one organization is creating boutiques on bases with those gowns and an added twist. Janet Shamlian has more.
There can be issues when dress shopping for a special event.
These didn't fit.
But at this boutique on the Fort Hood Army base, price isn't one of them.
Any specific color that you want, or do you
I love this army green.
Okay.
Major Lisa Northway, a chaplain, is looking for a ball gown. When she finds it, she'll take it home free.
Let me go try this one.
So will all military members and their families browsing here.
The cost of a dress, which can sometimes be $200, $300, $400, is the difference between buying food and going to a ball.
Okay. Yvonne Coombs co-founded Operation Deploy Your Dress, accepting donations of clothes and cash to make possible moments like this. Now on 13 bases, over 7 years, giving away almost 18,000 dresses.
Trying to find some yellow.
For Chaplain Northway, whose work can be heavy, a chance to step away.
What's it like to come in here and just have a slice of festiveness?
It's like getting to join life's party. We do have reasons to celebrate and to cheer each other on.
Saying yes to the dress.
It feels like it was made for me. I did not expect that.
The gift of more than a gown.
I mean, we're calling it a boutique, but that's a pretty well-stocked store. Price is right as well. There's nothing like music to bring people together, and the Chicago Symphony wants its classical music to unite people from all walks of life. CBS Chicago's Charlie DeMar has more.
From inside one of America's great symphony halls come the sounds of inclusion.
There are so many great musicians of color, but you never see them all in one room playing together at once.
Anika Veda is a high school senior from suburban Chicago, and on this night, she's playing flute alongside some of the best musicians in the world.
Nervous at all?
A little nervous.
She's one of 50 gifted young musicians from 10 cities who spent a weekend with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, a symposium for diverse performers.
This is the first time I've been in an orchestra where almost everybody is from the same background as me or looks like me. It's just an incredibly diverse array of musicians.
Anika and the others are getting an opportunity Stanford Thompson never did as a budding trumpeter in Atlanta. He's now the chairman of a network that mentors classical musicians of color.
I think it kind of sends a signal that they aren't alone, that they are on this journey with others that are trying to become professional musicians.
The first movement in a long journey to diversity in classical music, with a finale yet to be written.
It's a beautiful piece there from Charlie DeMar. Charlie, thank you very much. Coming up, after losing her father and getting arrested, one young woman had a conversation with a judge that changed her life. The words they shared coming up. Back when she was in college, Gabrielle Perry made a mistake that led to her arrest, but she got a second chance thanks to a judge she will absolutely never forget. Turns out he did not forget her either. Our David Begnaud has more now on their one conversation that helped Perry find her passion.
The life of Gabrielle Perry has benefited from second chances that all began when she was born and given up for adoption.
I am the birth child of a woman who was incarcerated, and that was the story of how I came to be into this world.
The woman with that bright smile learned firsthand about second chances by watching her adoptive father, Thurman Perry, run his Louisiana lawn care business.
And they don't make men like my daddy no more. The only people that he hired were the men from the local jail. They were from the prison work release program. He never treated them any differently.
Did he do that because he wanted to give them a second chance?
I believe so. In my heart, I really do.
Mr. Perry died before he could see his daughter go to LSU. But
in your personal life back home, they were foreclosing on your family home. Your mom was sick.
I mean, it was just everything was falling apart, and desperation led to a lot of poor choices.
While in college, she got arrested.
I had taken money that I did not earn from my work-study job. I got caught, of course, and immediately confessed to it.
She was charged with 27 felonies. And even though she paid the money back, she had to face Judge Bo Higginbotham.
He just was so kind to me, and he asked me if I was ready to go back to school. It was almost like it was a collaboration, like we were just having a meeting about my future. I feel like I was meeting with an advisor, and this was the judge on my criminal case, and there was just so much humanity in that moment, and it really changed the trajectory of my entire life.
Wow. Wow. The judge decided not to give her jail time, and that was another second chance.
Dear Judge Higginbotham,
it meant so much to her that she wrote him a letter.
I stood before you just about 7 years ago as a first-time nonviolent offender. When you called my case, you were incredibly kind to me. Your decision to not punish me saved my life, and because of that, I get to go save other people's lives now too. In deep sincerity, Gabrielle Angelique Perry. Oh my God, hi.
Ms. Perry, how are you?
It's nice to see you again, sir. I didn't think they would bother you with this.
No, they're not bothering me at all. I keep your letter on my desk every single day. It gives me inspiration to do what I do every single day.
He took her to his chambers to show her he wasn't kidding.
I took a lot of care in making that letter. I really just never thought that it even got to you. I just sent it because I felt like...
Been sitting right here.
Even after the judge showed mercy to her, she struggled.
We are in the place that I was homeless the longest.
Bathing in a bucket, walking 3 miles a day to work. That was her life, she says, for nearly 3 months after her arrest.
My peers, my sorority sisters, everyone kind of just led the charge in just isolating me.
And that experience gave definition to what has become her passion project, the Thurman Perry Foundation, named for her daddy. The foundation gives financial assistance and essential public health resources to women and girls impacted by incarceration.
My education saved my life. Being able to educate women and girls is not just a nicety, it's a public health measure, it's a public safety measure.
And that leads us to Tamika Starks, the first of more than a dozen incarcerated women to get a $1,000 scholarship from the Perry Foundation. They had never met until this moment, inside the Louisiana women's prison.
It's okay, we're here together. It's a moment. You just look exactly like all your pictures, and I keep all your letters, and and I'm just so happy.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you, and I'm grateful for the work that you do. You are giving us ladies a voice. So there's purpose in the pain, there's purpose in the opposition, there's purpose in your tears. We are very, very grateful.
Starks is serving a 20-year sentence for manslaughter.
What is your story about how you came to be here?
Well, I came to be here through domestic violence. I remember calling the police multiple times, and I also called the domestic violence hotline a couple times, and I was told to get a dog. To get a dog. So in the moment, instead of running away, I ran towards him, and I shot my husband, and he died.
So in awarding a scholarship to her, what is your hope?
Essentially, women who are incarcerated, they're erased. I want to be able to give them a sense of dignity and to be able to give them a sense of purpose.
Just as Judge Higginbotham gave to her.
Your decision not to punish me is definitely reverberated. We have a scholarship program, especially, which is honestly a direct result of you letting me go back to school. I got to pull myself and my mom out of poverty. I got to be somebody.
Well, I played a very minor role in this. You are the person that did everything.
But in fact, he empowered her to go on to get 3 degrees, including a master's of public health in epidemiology. She is now a 29-year-old epidemiologist studying infectious diseases.
A lot of us move through life and people are nice to us, but it doesn't stop us and give us pause. What is it about kindness that gives you such pause?
There's been such a lack of it. There's such a lack of it in the world in general. It's like you forfeit that by having crossed through a jail cell. It's like you are no longer worthy of that. And I don't believe that.
And so when someone is kind to you, it has the ability to literally change the trajectory of your life.
I'm living proof of that.
So much grace and gratitude in that story. David Begnaud, well done. All right, that is our show. I hope it brightened your day and lifted you up. I'm sure it did. If it didn't, rewatches, as always, they're free. We'll see you next week with more good news.